Hey guys, Veebat here with another V-Plays. Taking a look at the XP-72. I've finally been able to fully upgrade this aircraft so that way I can show it to y'all. This came after the P-47N, and at the end of the P-47N video I mentioned it's very much going to be similar to what you experienced with that airframe, with just a little bit more across the board in order to remain competitive. It carries the same air-to-ground loadout, which means that it transfers over to this aircraft quite easily. The major difference, however, is going to be the fact that you lose two of the machine guns, but the difference is these are going to be the same type of guns that you have unlocked from the FJ1 if you have fully upgraded that aircraft. That means that you're running tier 10 machine guns, 6 of them on this aircraft, and the same relative damage output of that of an F-86 Sabre or even the next two aircraft. So the guns are going to remain very consistent. However, you are going to have to unlock these guns. The reasons you have to unlock these guns is that unlike the FJ1, which are center mounted machine guns, these are mounted on the wings. As a result, the game draws a very clear distinction between where the weapons are mounted for whatever reason, so you're going to have to go through the painstaking process of upgrading them, otherwise you have to live with only 6 of what you had with the P-47N. I highly suggest prioritizing the guns first, since you already have the air-to-ground loadout available. And if you've gone down the Corsair line and fully upgraded the F2G, that will give you the second engine on this aircraft, giving you a substantial start for engine power. So after getting the guns, the next step would be getting the airframe. And for those of you who noted the aircraft in the past or seen it in my garage, you'll note that it has counter-rotating propellers. In order to get the visual of counter-rotating propellers, you are only going to get that from the upgraded airframe. It doesn't actually change the way that the engines perform, although you are going to get a slight increase in maneuverability, hit points, as well as increased speed in a dive. It does not change the engine performance despite the depiction of a counter-rotating prop, which would incite to you that, hey, this thing probably has more engine power, so I just wanted to alleviate any expectations that that might be the case. This aircraft likes to sit around 5,500 feet, but with the engine power available, it can definitely climb up to higher altitudes and operate at intercepting aircraft. Here we're going to focus down the bot defender that is looking like he wanted to charge us. There is a Japanese plane behind us, but I did not turn at all, so I was utilizing my speed to be able to overcome his chase. He lost interest and went after our heavy, but he must have noted that we were here and is turning towards us. I make a few passing shots on him, but I ignore him, and I use our engine power to be able to chase after this heavy defender, so that way we can try and flip this capture zone. Being a multi-role aircraft, what it specializes in is countering a defense aircraft as well as bombing ground targets at a site. It's very much a cap flipper, so you want to utilize that strength and keep playing in this manner, much like we did with the P-47N. This aircraft does not turn very well at all. Unlike the Corsair line, where you found that you had trouble turning compared to an actual light fighter, this aircraft is even worse. With a 13-second turn time, it is very sluggish, and you feel it. You also have to be careful in the dive. I originally, when I first upgraded the engine, planted this thing into the dirt on multiple occasions because I just didn't have the maneuverability in order to augment its dive speed, so just be aware of those limitations. We are running improved radiator, like we did with the P-47. We're also running the engine tuning for increased engine boost to maximize the strength of this aircraft, which is a fast acceleration. And I put lightweight airframe on this aircraft in order to give it a little bit more controllability, much like the 1056 when we put on the improved flaps in order to give it some type of ability to keep the guns on target. I have opted to give this thing just a little bit more in order for it to be able to be competitive. Now we're climbing well above the altitude ceiling that this aircraft is meant to operate, but I want to maintain this zone, and killing this RB-17 is going to be a necessity. But you'll note that we're not getting to stall speeds. We're at 10,000 feet, we're in the red for altitude, but we're able to hang with these heavy bombers at high altitude, and those 50 cal machine guns pump out enough damage at this tier to be very formidable against the enemy. With these machine guns, like I've said in the past, I prefer to be running a universal ammo set, and that allowed us to be able to burn out that RB-17 and get another kill. Now, I don't want to get into the brawling fight in the middle because the enemy player is flying in a Spitfire 14, and I don't want to play in a turning fight with him because he is going to be able to beat me every single time. I can't outclimb him. The best I can do is outpace him, so if I'm going to come up against him, I'm going to limit my exposure to his guns. Killing these bombers is going to be my best option for maintaining this capture zone. Like I said, we want to capture zones and then maintain the most important ones, and we can't let these bombers slip through because that means that we will lose an offensive capability from this capture zone. Those 50 cal machine guns are more than enough to be able to make short work of quite a few of those bombers. One manages to slip through, but now we also are gaining the attention and the ire of those in the middle. Here we are going after this Kai, and we're able to take him out with the power of these 50 cal machine guns. That is that player Spit 14 I don't want to be playing with. Luckily for me, it looks like he's disengaging. I would like to go and counter these bombers, but they're a ways off right now, and I don't want this Spit coming back because I feel like he's getting an idea that he's going to double back, and that's definitely what he's doing right here. So we put a few shots into him. I thought I might have been able to drop my air-to-ground ordnance here, which is a great way of building up XP in a multi-role. This XP-72 is invisible. This has been happening lately. I didn't even know that I was going to run into him, and unfortunately that results in us taking a heavy hit and losing the aircraft. Wargaming, fix the invisible planes, please, as I shake my fist at the sky. And the unfortunate thing is now we're unable to double back and try and stop those bombers. So what I decide to do is I'm going to use my offensive capability to try and flip another capture zone. While a command center is great for being able to capture a zone on its own, it's still going to give you the same amount of points per tick as any other zone will. So if I can try and maintain the capture ahead of their bombers and keep our points lead up against the enemy, that's going to be my best bet. Here I'm going to be launching a rocket at each one of these air-to-air sites, or these AAA sites. We drop one bomb here and I misjudged this release. You want to keep that reticle steady on the target. Usually a 45-degree dive is going to be your best bet for that. I didn't even damage that site whatsoever. A few rockets should be able to take out this site pretty easily. I misjudged this rocket release and only a few slipped past that one building, so be aware when using rockets that you need to be sure of their flight path. Now there's a lot of defenders here. I put a few passing glances at that one aircraft. I did use my guns on a ground target. I only used them to take out one AAA site. I feel as though that was warranted, so that way it's not going to be shooting me up while I'm trying to engage these heavies. Heavies are going to be the best thing for this aircraft to go after. He does have a lot of speed for this airframe, so he can be able to keep up with these guys and be able to intercept quite easily for even enemy heavies that are going to be flying at these low altitudes, for you to stay on them and punish them for getting into your envelope. I'm saving a lot of my boost here because I know that I am just keeping these aircraft from attacking my ground attacker right now, and I'm taking opportunistic shots at these aircraft. I'm being very careful not to put myself in a situation where I dive on one just to have the other follow me. And if I take out one of these aircraft, it should be enough to flip this capture zone, so I decide to just go ham on this one aircraft and try and eliminate him outright. We managed to take that aircraft out. We've maintained our cap advantage, and we ended up getting a grade 2 multi-role because we're playing to our strengths. We're attacking ground areas, we're taking out air defense aircraft, and it's going to be a little bit deceiving here when we look at the post-game stats, because it's going to say I killed a lot of aircraft, but it also counts killing bombers. So be aware that while some people are able to get top guns quite easily, a true top gun is actually really hard to come by. Some people just kill bomber flight after bomber flight in order to achieve that goal. We're most likely not going to be able to kill those aircraft in time, and as a result you see that the bombers have taken this, they took the site before the bombers got there, and then they deviated from that area. I figured the best thing at this point is to try and take the airfield, so I am using my limited air-to-air capability to try and help my team out. Just got to be aware that you just don't have a lot available. At this stage of the game, we are in squall line. The enemy only had 3 planes left, so I'm trying to focus down what aircraft I can, but this J-8M is one of those premium rocket planes that the Japanese have available, and he's just impossible to keep up with, especially in this airframe. Maybe if I was in a heavy fighter jet, I might be able to do it. We managed to take that center zone, and that allowed us to maintain that cap advantage, which is what we want to do in this aircraft. We're here to maintain that cap advantage, and by doing that, we have won the game, and we played specifically to the role of this airframe. So let's take a look at the post-game stats and see how we were able to arrive at the top of our team. With 11,000 combat score, that is more than reasonable for a good battle. I'm happy I was able to eke out a win. That was a very close match, and my hat's off to the Spitfire 14, who played a very good game. Being able to attack air-to-ground targets gives you a lot of a bonus to your overall point score. It's quite a boon. We did 17,000 damage to ground targets, and by taking out whole sites, that allowed us to be able to get 385 capture points received, which maxed us out for being able to get the capture point bonus. We captured 4 sectors, and we were able to destroy 3 of the enemy defending aircraft, which allowed us to be able to get our score up to a grade 2 multi-role, and that put us in a good state. Overall, this aircraft is very similar to the way the P-47 operates. It's going to feel different, and people can't get past the mental block of these 6 machine guns, but I assure you there's more than enough damage capability coming out of these guns to be able to operate much like you did with your P-47. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you like and you didn't like, and we'll try to make these videos better in the future. I'll catch you on the next one.